In Islam, Jesus, known as Isa, is revered as one of the greatest prophets, second only to Muhammad. The Quran mentions Jesus in over 90 verses, emphasizing his miraculous birth and divine mission. Surah 3:45-46 states that Jesus was a sign for humanity, born to the Virgin Mary through God's command. This contrasts with Christian views of Jesus as the Son of God, highlighting Islam's strict monotheism. The Quranic narrative begins with a prophecy about Jesus, setting the stage for his unique role in Islamic theology. The Quran details the virgin birth of Jesus in Surah 19:16-22, where Mary, is visited by the angel Gabriel. She conceives Jesus by God's will, under a palm tree where she finds solace. This account parallels the Christian nativity, but emphasizes God's absolute power, not Jesus' divinity. Maryam is celebrated in Islam as one of the most righteous women, and her story is a testament to purity and faith. The Quranic version omits the manger and shepherds, focusing instead on Maryam's solitary devotion. Surah 19:29-33 describes Jesus speaking as an infant from Maryam's arms, defending her purity to astonished onlookers. This miracle, absent in Christian texts, underscores his prophethood in Islam. The Quran also mentions Jesus shaping birds from clay and breathing life into them, a story echoed in apocryphal Christian writings. These childhood miracles establish Jesus as a divinely chosen messenger, preparing the groundwork for his later teachings. Islamic tradition holds these signs as proof of God's favor, not Jesus' divinity. The Quran affirms Jesus' miracles of healing the blind and raising the dead, Surah 3:49, but attributes them to God's permission, not his own power. These acts, similar to gospel accounts, are framed as signs to the Israelites, urging them to worship the one God. Islam rejects the idea of Jesus as a divine healer, instead presenting him as a prophet fulfilling God's will. The Quranic narrative avoids dramatic details, focusing on the theological message. Miracles are proof of prophethood, not divinity. Surah 5:78 recounts how many Jews rejected Jesus' prophethood, accusing him of sorcery. The Quran portrays this as part of a recurring pattern. Prophets faced disbelief from their own communities. Jesus' teachings, which aligned with earlier Abrahamic traditions, were seen as a threat by Jewish leaders. This tension mirrors gospel accounts, but is distilled into a theological lesson about perseverance and faith. Islam views Jesus' rejection as a precursor to Muhammad's similar struggles in Mecca. The Quran's version of the Last Supper, Surah 5:112-115, differs markedly from Christianity. Here, Jesus' disciples ask for a table spread from heaven as proof of his mission. God grants this request, but warns against disbelief. The event emphasizes obedience rather than communion. Islam rejects the concept of sacramental bread and wine, interpreting the meal as a test of faith. This account underscores Jesus' role as a teacher guiding followers to monotheism, not a savior offering redemption. Islam categorically denies Jesus' crucifixion, Surah 4:157, stating that another was made to resemble him on the cross. This belief shocks Christians, but aligns with Islam's view that God would not abandon a prophet to such humiliation. The Quran suggests Jesus was raised directly to heaven, spared from death. This theological divergence is central to interfaith debates. Islamic scholars argue the crucifixion's absence underscores God's mercy, while Christians see it as core to salvation. Surah 4:158 declares God raised Jesus to himself, a belief shared partially by Christianity, but without the resurrection narrative. Islam teaches Jesus lives in heaven, awaiting his return. This ascension mirrors Prophet Muhammad's night journey, reinforcing the link between the two prophets. The event is devoid of Easter's triumph, focusing instead on God's power to transcend human suffering. For Muslims, Jesus' ascent confirms his status, but denies any shared divinity with God. Islamic eschatology holds that Jesus will return to defeat the Antichrist, Dajjal, restore justice, and die a natural death. Hadith literature describes him breaking crosses, symbolizing the rejection of Trinity. This return bridges Islamic and Christian end times beliefs, though with divergent roles. For Muslims, Jesus' return affirms Muhammad's prophethood as he will pray behind the Mahdi. The narrative underscores Islam's claim as the final uncorrupted revelation. But despite theological differences, Islam and Christianity share deep reverence for Jesus. The Quran calls him a word from God and the Messiah, though redefining these titles within monotheism. This final scene invites interfaith dialogue, emphasizing common ethical teachings, compassion, justice, and devotion that Jesus exemplified. Historical tensions persist, but mutual respect for Jesus offers a path to understanding. The olive tree, a symbol of peace, frames this hopeful conclusion.